I heard Skip Bayless talking about.
Man, I gained 10 pounds eating the red and the green M&Ms, bro. I gained 10 pounds so quick with all that. I'll chop it up today. How you brothers been for the week, man?
Oh, we've been good, man. We've been
Good.
good.
Yeah.
We can't ignore the ratings. I mean, this light skin thing is working for me and
I
Derek.
heard
You know what I'm
it's
saying?
going. It's more market. Where do we start?
Yo, what's up? Welcome back to Let's Chop It Up. Please follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Like and subscribe and tell a friend about four brothers down there on this YouTube channel. My brothers from another mother, it's been a solid 2 weeks since I've seen you all and the fans and people out there checking out the show. What's going on with you? Talk to me, Derek. How you been, bro?
Hey man, I've been all right, man. It's just a lot going on with me. I wish I could say everything was really groovy, really great, but I can't really say that, man. I've just been pretty busy. Took time off from work just to kind of take care of a lot of things that just really, really needed to be taken care of. You know, you get that honey-do list, man. You know, and this is beyond honey-do list. This is just like complete demand, dog. You know what I mean? But we took care of business, man. We got it all. We got a lot of my wife's stuff moved, you know, with big changes coming to her business. So we're just kind of waiting to see what we're going to do with that, and we're moving things. A lot of stuff, just a lot of moving, a lot of personal stuff. And very little sleep. And I think we finally got a chance to kind of relax. I spent like pretty much it was a whole week, man, just like doing stuff, and I didn't get any real time for myself. But this Sunday we kind of slept in a little bit. We kind of got a chance to relax. We found Friday we found a very, very good bar. Got it with another couple. Did our thing on that night. You know what I'm saying? Got some nice drinks. Definitely going to go back here in Freeport. And that was good. So I got some time in for myself. But overall, you know, it's the usual thing with me. Kids are good, family's okay. You know, we're surviving. We're moving past a lot of things. With the flood and all of that. You know, really affected us. So we're building back. So we're making positive strides in the first in the right direction. And of course, I'm glad to be back here, man. You know what, you guys, man, to chop it up with you. You know what I mean? And this is definitely the highlight of everything. What's happening, Juan? You know, good to see you, brother. And we're here, you know. So let's get it. You know, what's up, Damien? Tell me, man, what's going on with you, brother?
What's going on, everybody? It's been a couple of weeks. I'm happy to see y'all. Looking forward to another great show. Excited. It's February 1st, so happy Black History Month to everybody who didn't know, don't know, who need to know. Take some time to learn a little bit more about Black history in the world, especially the U.S. My last couple of weeks were okay. I'm just focusing, locking in, improving, getting better every day. I've been doing this exercises every day for about the last 3 months. And I'm seeing the gains. I'm getting summer ready by the spring. That's my goal.
Wow. All right.
By the spring.
I'm trying to be on Kelvin level. I'm trying to be like I'll be the understudy of the sex symbol. You know what I'm saying? So if he needs to take me on, maybe I can slide in for like an hour. I know I can't, I'm not on Keep Sweat right now level, but I can try to keep up with him. But anyway, how's your weekend going, Kel? How's your week, Kel?
I'm gonna tell you something, man. It was going good till I had to go to the DMV, brother. And you already know what it is. I have to just tell you guys because I said I got to tell y'all. So I forgot. I thought after COVID pretty much passed the last 2 years, you could just walk right in. And so turns out you can't, you got to make an appointment. So I'm in Queens. So I'm like, I got to get this done before I go to work. So I couldn't get an appointment in Queens. I go all the way out to Massapequa where I live. I'm like, where I grew up at. So I'm like, all right. They gave me 11:45 a.m. appointment. I don't have much time, but I got that little window, right? 11:45. I get there. Well, I run into the place. So I go in and I tell the people, I call my insurance company. I'm like, I need to add a car on, right? So they're like, fine, add this car. Get to the front of the line, show the lady the ID, the insurance ID. She's like, this is set for February 15th. I'm like, why would they put it at February 15th? I call them back. I'm like, listen, it can't be 15th. They're like, oh, we made a mistake. That's when your policy renews. I'm like, all right, look, I need it right now. So the lady's about to make me step out of line. No, just wait right there. I'll send it. Send another one. The lady's like, all right, nope. This is for January 31st. Today's the 30th. Now I got to step out of line. So now the guys, it's gonna take me a few minutes. So now they give me the one finally on the 31st. I mean on 30th. I get back in line, see the lady. I'm like, all right, thank you. I just got to get out of here. Sorry, I hate to tell you this. Our system just crashed. We can't take any cards. So at this point, I just started laughing, right? I'm like, all right, all right. So this must be a reality show. Somebody just filming this or something like that. So I was like, all right, I'll go to the ATM. Can I just come right back to you? I gotta go to lunch at 12. I'm like, you know what? I'd have been disappointed. I said I'd have been disappointed if you didn't. I'm glad you got to go to lunch because it would have bothered me if you didn't have to go to lunch. I finally, I finally go. I finally go back, get money out the ATM, come back. Now I gotta get on another line. I gotta wait again. Now they tell me, oh well, since you were here earlier, you can go back and see someone else. I go see someone else. The lady's like, how you want to pay? I said, well, I'm paying cash because the system's down. Oh no, we got that resolved. I was like, you know what? Sometimes you just gotta laugh. So that's pretty much how everything went, you know. But the good thing is I'm back with you guys. And it's good to see the crew. A lot has happened in the world since we last seen each other. So you know, but I got to hand it off to the point guard with that overtime loss to the Lakers. But talk to me, D. What's the deal?
Man, I was watching. So I thought about you the other day. I don't know if I sent it to the group chat, but Mark Jackson, he should have a job. You know what you're
Oh
saying?
yeah. Kenny the Jet was talking about it. Yeah.
Yeah. These blackballing people. What up, no rat?
Ghetto punk for real.
Hilarious. Yeah, but no, everything's good, man. It's good to have the 2 weeks off, man. Black History Month, you know, that's my favorite joint, man. You know, it should be Black History Year, but that's another subject. But everything else is good. Got back to work after the little break vacation and come to go step back into work and somebody lies on you is the worst shit in the world. And you know, people don't know how to lie right. If you're gonna lie, don't say you ever lie by email because it's a paper trail. And people should know me. I'm very fucking smart. And I'll just wait, and they take me for a sucker, just being thinking I'm a big fucking glue. And Damien knows this person. I'm not gonna mention the names.
Tell me later.
They lied on me and got caught. And then I just don't like the way management and things are handling things now. Because if it was another, they should just people when you lie on somebody, it should be some kind of repercussion. Something you should get in trouble for straight up lies. People shouldn't just walk away like just don't do that shit again.
But can I ask you, the person that lied, what are they a member? Which community are they a member of in particular?
Text me.
The one we celebrating right now.
Text me real quick the name because I might know the name.
I gotta stop with the rhetorical questions, by the way.
The initials are C Brown.
The name fits too.
I knew
okay.
who it was. I knew who it was when you said that. I knew who he was when you said somebody lied on you.
If I knew the name first, I wouldn't have asked my question.
But yeah, man. But it's just some real sucker shit. But you know, suckers always get happen. Sucker shit always happen to suckers. So it's all right, man.
Yeah,
I always land on my feet, man. This is the bullshit with people, man. It's your own kind. I would respect if it was white dude. I was like, yeah, cool. You got white dude. That's your nature. You know what I'm saying? You're a scorpion. You sting people. That's what you do. Your own kind. Goddamn. You know?
Speaking of scorpion.
Anyhow, man. So let's get it in, man. Let's talk about it. What's going on, man? Black History Month. Any general question? What that mean, Jamie? I just Black History Month. How we talking about? So what's going on? What y'all gonna do for Black History Month? Anybody going to Schaumburg? Anything in your local area? I know you in Atlanta. I know Atlanta got a whole bunch of black shit down there. They black.
I could set it off. A couple weeks ago, I actually went to the King Center and in Atlanta, and that was a great experience. That was my first time going. I got to see some very personal memorabilia that I was like, man, they just got it on display. And it's hard knowing his life, what he went through, and how he was killed, to now have certain things on display, like the last flowers he gave to his wife before he, you know what I mean, like real personal stuff, like clothes and the wallet. And I'm like, man, I don't know what that is like to be such a celebrated figure who was hated when he was doing the things he was doing that people are cheering and celebrating him for and telling other people to be more like him now. But they, those same people 30, 40 years ago were trying to kill him, beat him in the street, and just it's a lot. But I do want to say, Black History Month was officially recognized in what 1976, so it's about 27 years now. So that's a long time to it's not long enough. You know what I mean? Like the NAACP is what over 110 years old and stuff like that. But I mean, just being aware of stuff like that and knowing what's going on in the community, some of the things that we talk about, some of the things that we're going to talk about, some of the guests we might have over this month will be great. So we can start celebrating our people the way we do every day. But we can do a little bit extra this month. So I'm looking forward to that. And sometimes you just need to remember that. You need that like in the church they say like wash over me or something like just need that in these moments that we're about to deal with some real serious issues.
Yeah, it's so crazy when you talk to certain white people, you try to tell them like, "Yo, I'm the first generation with my full civil rights." If you got
Wow.
to think about that, like all of them, we're the first generation, bro, with full civil rights. Crazy when you think about it. Like, what I'm saying? That's how my mom had to go to all white. When my mother tells stories about coming up from North Carolina when it was whites and black bathrooms, and she was in the bus station in Virginia. The black bathroom was broke, and the black bathroom was broke, and it cost you a dime to take a piss or a shit if you were black. It was free for white folks. So she was
Now,
sneaking the
was
white.
there any other way to articulate? I mean, no, I'm just saying. If you, I'm just saying.
I didn't realize that.
No,
I'm
I'll
rusty.
say
I'm
this.
getting back. I no scrolls tonight for me, baby. So
I'll say this. I'm very, very fortunate to have had parents who were very, very involved. Never let me forget about the contributions made to people that have come before us to open up doors and break down barriers,
deeply right.
and
Yeah.
and the responsibility that goes along with that. And so I was kind of raised where it's like you never want to do anything to shame your parents, right? Your last name meant something. At least they always taught us that. When you leave this house, you represent me. That type of situation. Well, I think the same thing as a people, and whatever I want to do, and although none of us are perfect, I want to make it better. I want to contribute. So, like everybody on this screen, you know, pass something forward to young people. All of us try to do whatever we do to try to make it better, and so I appreciate the contributions of Dr. King and so many civil rights leaders. I would say this: I do think we have to get to a point where it's not just Dr. King. People
Oh
need
yeah.
to
Oh, no doubt,
understand
no
there's
doubt,
so
no doubt.
many unsung heroes in our community that, and Dr. King probably wanted, his dream was probably also for somebody to come and replace him and take it to some other level, on this front. So I'm appreciative of everything that he and many others have done, and I want to challenge myself to do better. I want to challenge myself to have a legacy that stands the test of time for what I contributed on the finite amount of time I have on this planet.
You know
I
what?
respect that. Can I
Yeah.
piggyback real quick, Kelvin? I respect everything you said, always, and I want to start challenging other people to do better because it seems like we the ones that keep getting asked to be peaceful. We the ones that keep getting asked to do certain
Right.
things, or what if
Mhm.
that, what if this, but everybody else they just get to operate with a level of impunity that's just blatantly disrespectful. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
starting to look at and just say, start asking other people to do better. Tell your cousins, tell your family members they need to do better. I don't even want to
Mm-hmm.
have it. Anyway, I'm sorry. Derek,
No, no,
please
You
no.
know what?
take it
The,
away.
the deal of it is, we always think of like the progression of this thing in terms of what other folks are doing, what are they doing? Why doesn't anyone do? It's always someone else. You know what I mean? You never very few times do we really look in the mirror, you know what I mean? And just think of the little things, not the grand marches and going to the newest march or the newest protest or anything like that. It's just the little things that we do every day, the teaching, the
Agree with your
conversations we
wife.
go, I'm so done being peaceful. Yeah, exactly.
I agree with
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. Listen, I've had this conversation with my family, I feel like just us and me as a black man, I speak for myself, but I would definitely say that I feel as though it's every maybe I shouldn't say it, but every it's my duty to have two things: a passport and a firearm. You know what I'm saying? So if that's just my thought, and I would hope that if anyone asked me, I'd be like, yeah, it's your duty as well. But I can't speak for other people. But But one of the things that I'm doing for Black History, I think, is I've had some very interesting series of conversations with my own mother, who grew up in Birmingham, Alabama. Um, and she has a very interesting background that is very complex. She and this is the first time I've said it. She was partially raised by a white Polish family in Birmingham, Alabama. So she has very
This
interesting.
explains why you got a white man in your house.
Not a relative.
Now we're connecting the
Now we-
dots. I got it.
but I've had
You
these
returning the
conversations.
favor?
Yeah,
Now
there you go. I'm paying it forward. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So but no, but so I've had these conversations, and she has a very interesting perspective on everything that happened. She went to she's from the same area. She she spent a lot of time in that area. Dr. King and all of that, and everything was going on for her. He was a few years older than her. And she just remembers her upbringing. Yeah, she knows a little bit. My wife knows a bit of it as well. And it just things that she was able to do, things that she wasn't able to do, things that she got shielded from partially. You know what I mean? So one of the things that I'm doing with my family, with my children, is just sitting down and making sure that we pass some of that experiential knowledge on, to my kids, so that they kind of know these are grandma's experiences with regard to, this is because essentially this is history. You know what I'm saying? But it's our own family history. You know what I mean? And I think that part needs to be handed on a personal level within families. Like, what is your family history? If you're able to impart any of it, we should hand that down to our kids and keep that in mind. So just my thoughts.
Absolutely.
Nah, that's
Great
beautiful. Thank you for doing that because it's needed. I think in some way, shape, or form, more of us need to do that as well. So I appreciate everything everybody's saying. Damon, can we do a word of the month for Black History Month? What y'all think? Y'all
You
think
don't
that's a
want
good
me to
idea?
pick the
In the
word.
chat,
So
I got
David, you
one
can
word. Go on, pick a word.
You pick a
All
word,
of us.
But I'm telling you, one thing I want to say real quick.
Mhm.
If my child gets harmed, I'm telling you now, you'll never ever see people go out there in peaceful protest. I will never ever say that because the peace was never brought to my door. I would never say that. I'm telling you right now.
That's what my belief is.
I
Is
could
everybody
never
else
do
is
it.
being violent? They keep asking us to be peaceful.
Peaceful. I can't do it because you're not giving me the same energy back. So I can't
Right.
do it. I can't do it.
And that's why I keep saying, ask your friends to be peaceful. Ask your cousins to be peaceful. Ask your aunts and uncles who are out there doing all this wild stuff. Ask them to be peaceful
Now we harm my
first,
family, man.
and then see how they respond.
Yeah, I can't do it.
But I got a word of the month. I'm gonna throw it out there. We do educational segment, reparations for Black History Month. But it's just in terms of defining it, what is it? It's like what do they say? The act or process of making amends or repairing something. So I want to talk more about this topic at some point. Maybe we can get somebody to talk about the reparations movement. And it's not just about money, but there is a whole history that people need to start talking about reparations for enslavement in this country. And there are other countries that might need to deal with it with the people that they owe as well. But for us being Americans, we need to talk about it here for the people who were affected by it. And it wasn't just enslavement. There's a history, hundreds of years of history, and I think that needs to be a topic. Everybody wants to talk about so many other things, inclusion and equity, and it's like, yeah, but that one will solve a lot of problems if they work towards repairing the damage that was done, making amends for the things that was done. The government.
I agree with you. And when I say peaceful, on the direct question is like when somebody comes to me and say, "Can you say some words to calm the crowd down?" I would say, why don't you first start with saying, "Calm the police down."
Yeah.
You'll start there first, then I'll come after that.
Right.
But I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. You start with your people first. Y'all started it. Y'all fix it first, then I'll come.
Well, one thing I think that has to be taken into consideration also is this, and I'll put this in the sports context. D, you're a football fan, right? And I know Derek is one too. I think Damien is one too. So let's say I'm a dome team, right? If I'm a dome team and I got a game coming up outdoors and I know it's going to rain, what do I do that week? I practice outside, right?
Yeah.
And we practice with a wet ball as well, right? I think our community has to be strategic in how we deal. I think sometimes we know the playbook, and I don't think we adjust to it. Like Damien said, reparations. I've been waiting for it and hearing about it my whole life. So in the meantime, all this money I give to Louis Vuitton and all this money I give to all these corporations, stuff like that. Now I'm withdrawing that, all of that. In other words, all the
Yeah.
things that so all the places I fund and stuff like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reverse engineer that, and I'm gonna direct that back to my own community. So instead of letting that money go out, I'm gonna keep it in house, because
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. In other words, at least what I can control right now, while you voting on this and legislating that and doing focus groups on that, I'm gonna tell you what I control already, and you're not gonna have that. I was telling somebody the other day, I paid all my credit cards to zero every day. Oh, take advantage of this special. Get these points. Get this, that. No, 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 nothing. Don't ask nothing. I'm not sending that. I'm not giving y'all nothing. And that's what I think we have to do as well. So, because no matter what, there's an economic component to this that I'm telling you will turn the key to that lock a lot of times. So we've
Oh
got
yeah.
to do it. And I mean, Dr. King did it. You can cripple somebody with it. And I think we got to make sure that we put that. And I understand the point. Listen, I lost a mother, father, and sister. And I always said I lost them to natural causes. If I lost them to some type of violence, I don't know how I would respond. I could tell you it wouldn't be favorable. You know what I'm saying? It
Right.
would not be favorable. So that's the reality. But I understand, and I can feel the emotion, and I know the pain. I think we all know it, and we know what's going on right now, and it's tough. It's tough to process.
Jamie,
Yeah.
could you bring the comment back up? Um,
Yeah.
you
My
want
wife. People always talk. People always want to talk about money. Money doesn't fix everything. We're talking about in
and I
terms
wanted
of
to
reparations. Yeah.
As Denzel Washington
I wanted
said,
to
it
speak
was a
on
good
that.
down payment down on it. It was a good down payment.
Right.
down.
I wanted to speak on that, and with all due respect, I'd never ever come out of my face. But let's list the things money can fix. The wealth gap could be erased in a day with financial reparations. One of the biggest issues hitting the Black community since they have become a community on this continent could be erased. Black people could eliminate their own debt. They could pay off loans. They could start businesses. All the things that we keep saying Black people need to do, they will have the opportunity to control their dollars, right, Kelvin? They would have the opportunity to start businesses and not have to beg banks for money, right? So they get these terrible loans. They may have the opportunity to do a lot of the things that people are saying, well, it's not just about money, but money in this country that I am aware of would solve a lot of issues.
Right.
You could
Nobody
fix
wants
your
to
credit.
relinquish control, though. That's the problem. And so
Right.
what you're talking about is equality. And what I realize is people love that in theory, just not in practice. That's always the
Right.
carrot, the dangle, and things
Mhm.
like that. You know what I'm saying? And so at the end of the day, I always tell people, if you have the top slot, why would you want to share it? And people don't want to share it. They don't. So what
Right.
I'm saying is the level that we have, because and that's why, because if you could write a $40 billion check to Ukraine, if you can do that,
Facts.
you know what I'm saying? And I mean, if you can get SSI to
Right.
Ukrainians, or
Exactly.
if you could have people that are sitting here looking, to come to New York and like, listen, I'm not gonna go to a shelter that they sending us to. I'm seeking asylum, but I'm gonna dictate where I go. If you can have all that stuff like that, then you could do something for the builders and founders of the country as well. But we know why it's not done. So
Only
Yeah, and
pushback one is
there's a
that.
comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, no,
Juan
no. Go
says
ahead. Go ahead.
Juan says true. Financial reparation would help clear the debt, but financial reparations mean printing more currency, which equals inflation, which equals your money loses its value. That's just
Which
one
means
portion
nothing
of it.
if you have no money. Which means absolutely nothing if you have $0. If you're in the negative and you have no money, so money has no value to you already because you're already in the hole.
And they
So what
already
does that
doing it,
mean?
but they print money now to pay for these motherfucking wars.
Right, they're printing money to pay for everything else.
Okay, yeah, no, you're right. But when
If I owe $500,000, or if I owe $50,000, or I owe $100,000, it doesn't matter what the value of money is. I don't have any.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, listen, we're talking about a matter. Um, we're dealing with it sort of like in theory or what have you. But there are there are certain realities that you have to factor in. We're not talking about the political
Yeah.
realities. When they print money up and they send it overseas, that's basically expanding the American dollar. You know what I mean? It's creating that's
Shauna, what
Exactly.
up?
I don't give a damn about the national debt. Listen, you're right. You know what I'm saying? If you listen, Damien, what you're saying is right, and what you're saying is right. But that there's another a playbook, that's going on.
Mhm.
So
That's true.
geopolitically, so they're spending they're introducing another country to the American dollar as a currency. That's basically what they're
So I,
doing. You know?
I agree with you. But
Yeah.
also I would say that there was an original playbook that was used to get to this point and it was off our backs.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And
So
it, but
whatever
yeah.
playbook they're using now, they took a lot of it from that original playbook.
But this is
Oh,
the thing.
absolutely.
Again, we know this. People are not going to give you something because you deserve it. People
Well,
going
they
to give
did
you
pass the
something.
law though.
They'll, they'll,
I'm
they'll.
sorry, not to cut you off.
No, I
It's a
got you.
law that's in action, and they're supposed to distribute. They were supposed to distribute the money. We'll have a more serious segment on it.
No, no, I
But the
got you. I
money
got
was
you.
the reparations was already agreed upon. They just haven't paid out.
Well, that's a big part to this. And what I'm saying is people will give something when they have to. And I'm saying if you,
Exactly. Exactly.
again, I use this expression all the time. You got to make somebody feel it. You got to make some
Oh
when
yeah,
them buses for the boycott was empty. All of a sudden, everybody want to talk. All of a sudden, everybody willing to come to the table, and that's what I'm saying. So you've got to do it. That's it. That's it. And I would hope the people who are really affluent or influencers or have the means in our community would take the lead. That I know that doesn't happen. I know that's not always going to happen. More often than not, people that have the top spot don't want to share it because they're afraid of breaking relationships that they have to get there. But I think that's what we need. Somebody's got to sacrifice, and I think that's why I really, if I could have lived in any other time, being a younger person, I'd love to have been part of that process in the '60s. Young people were so
yeah,
aware. I mean, they were so aware. They were so on point, and so
Yeah. We're I think currently we're sort of distracted. You know what I mean? But you know, but again, if you look at it from the point of view of your oppressor or the person on top, if you're on top, you can do two things. You can drop bombs on your enemies, or you can pay them to not riot. You know what I mean? So maybe we need to get it in their heads that maybe they need to pay us to not riot. You know, so
yeah.
but we're very distracted people. So I'll just leave it at that.
Well,
Well, yeah, I would
go ahead.
say yeah, distracted, divided, all those words work. But I don't want to drag y'all into this. We could talk about this for 2 hours. So
Yeah,
Nah,
we got a
we may
whole show to do.
let's
yeah,
do it. Maybe we chop it up about this next week. But get some blackety black economic people on there. But anyhow, man, some shit that went down in Memphis, Tennessee. Boy, Tyree Nicols, the death of this young brother at the hands of these black police officers, some white officers that helped to give him aid. The brother's 29 years old. He was a photographer, took pictures of sunsets, the skateboarder, even like Jordans.
yeah.
He's different. He like me. He only like Jordans, wore Vans. Solid dude went home every day at 7 p.m. to have dinner with his mama and his father. They worked at FedEx. So I already knew this was a no drug stop because we work at FedEx. We got drug tested almost damn near every week. So I know that wasn't it. So your thoughts on his brother's passing and what happened to this young man?
Well, I mean, the word passing, I mean,
Trying to
doesn't
be
even,
nice.
yeah, I know. I have after we've had some time to process it, man, I just had this sense of, um, I think it's kind of beyond sadness. I think it's a little more beyond anger. I was almost numb seeing it, seeing the actual act. I don't know, and I use the word evil because I think we're past just traditional motives. Some of this stuff, for you to be able to do that, I used to look at dudes when they get jumped in school, and I'd be like, that's so punkish to have five dudes beating on somebody or four dudes beating on somebody. It's so punkish to me, right? But to actually have this set up like this, to be a person, law enforcement, this day and age, you know the repercussions of it. And to try to shield the body cams and pretend that the guy was resistant, not knowing what happened. I don't even know. You know what they used to say? You take like a little stray mutt, you put it with a bunch of other mutts, it becomes a ferocious pack of dogs. They're all weak individually. When you put them together, and that's what I saw. I saw this like collective effort. They empowered this scorpion name. this rogue group that kind of goes out, which you think you're above the law. We used to have it in New York years ago. Dudes jumping
TNT,
out of
baby.
vans and stuff like that. And so I got to the point where I didn't have the emotional ability to have my heart bleed this time. You know why? Because I realized it's depleted. I've seen this movie a million times, regardless of who the characters are. You know, I always know. I know who's always the victim in it because that stays the same. But it's a rotating door when it comes to the antagonist. It's a rotating door when it comes to the murderer, the killer. It's the same. They keep rotating, and no matter how it comes, it's always just the same target. And it was just tough. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not indifferent, but I can tell you it's almost this numbing feeling. I don't have the emotional wherewithal to get upset anymore. That's been taken away from me because if not, I'm spent. I'm depleted. Injustice doesn't serve justice. We already know that. That's the obvious. I'm tired of seeing these press conferences. I'm tired of seeing these mothers and fathers up there crying. I'm tired of seeing it. And so because I've seen it so much, it has become normalized. And that's what we were afraid of. Like the stuff that happens today, if this happened at another time, well, the Rodney King thing was this big, amazing thing that we saw it on video. This is commonplace now. And you can put all the things in place, the body cams and all these checks and balances for accountability. It seems like no matter what, at the end of the equation, it is always the same person that's sitting there dead and the same person that was attacked and abused. Always. That seems to be the case.
Yeah. And that's why I tell people, we got a special guest in, but when they say justice for Tyree, no, it should be justice for the living. This brother's gone. There ain't no justice happening to this brother. His life is gone. It gotta be for Damien. It gotta be for Derek. It gotta be for Derek's kids. It gotta be for Kelvin. Say Kelvin's nieces. It gotta be that kind of thing. It's gotta be justice for the living, not justice for the dead. You already paid ultimate sacrifice now. He's gone. His life. But anyhow. But tonight, we got a special guest tonight. We got a former New York City police lieutenant. He served over 26 years from oversaw detectives. I don't want to go through his whole bio. It's crazy long. I knew this brother for a long time. He was one of Derek and Sam's drinking buddies in uniform. Now I'm I'm back in the day, but it's a good, solid dude. It's Jamie, bringing my man Yukum Miles Moore.
What's up? We've come a long way, haven't we? As grown men here. How you brothers doing?
All right, how you doing tonight?
Doing well.
Good, brother. How you doing, brother Miles?
Good. It's kind of heartfelt to say happy Black History Month because as Black folks, we just don't get a break. And to come into Black History Month with this tragedy, today was the funeral of Tyree Nicols. May he rest in peace and bless his family as they move forward. We come into Black History Month with the same story again. However, the color of the people involved changed. And that's significant to us. We look at January 7th, 1789, George Washington was elected the first president of the United States. That was 234 years ago. 234 years ago. Now we hear January 7th of 2023, and it's a mob lynching of a Black man as what's going on in 1789, but yet the faces changed, and it's 5 Black males who are involved with this. A 29-year-old Black male, 148 pounds, which every one of those individuals had at least 100 pounds on him. He was a father, and he was so-called being stopped for reckless driving. In policing, there's the school of positivism says, let the punishment fit the crime. Reckless driving is not a crime. And I know many of us, it was difficult watching these videos. They literally yanked him out the car. One of my responsibilities as a lieutenant platoon commander was review body cam videos. I randomly review body cam videos, and I never thought in my life that I would see a body cam video of a lynching. Because, let's call it what it is. This is not a police incident. This is a lynching. All my police friends, everyone I know in policing, I have not heard one person say that there's any justification for this. Most of them are extremely appalled by the behavior. You know, like a basic car stop. There's two type of car stops. There's a felony car stop, and there's a basic car stop. Okay, for a violation, you want a red light, stop sign, you pull somebody over. A felony car stop is you coming out the car with your guns. You're giving commands. I don't know of any car stop where you run up into a car, you yank a person out, and you begin mortgaging them. You know, we've seen the reports from the New York Times where they reported that they gave 71 commands, 71 commands, 71. And even some of those he followed, he still continued to receive blows. Still continues. But what they teach you in policing is that when you give commands, one person gives the command. Because we know when you hear many voices, guess what? You get very confused. Mr. Nichols was confused that night. He was scared. And now we see when black males say they're scared, why they have reasons to be scared. Because, you know, the only person whose life was in danger that night was his. And pulling him out that car, you know, mauling him. And, you know, I reviewed the body cam videos, and the video, and thank God the video of the overhead cam of the street told the entire story. Because I think if not for that camera, there would have been some doubt as whether or not Tyree was completely following commands, even though the normal eye was saying he was. But that overhead camera incontrovertibly spelled that this was a violent mob that was in police uniforms. And, you know, we got to think that the police commissioner took swift action, which I've heard is called a blueprint moving forward of in 20 days. In 20 days, we've seen officers 6 months in similar situations get suspended, receive pay, et cetera, et cetera. In 20 days, they've been fired, arrested, and their indictment, which is extraordinary. But, you know, it's the beginning of justice. You know, this Scorpion unit and the acronym is Street Crimes Operation to restore peace in our neighborhood. We see no restoration of peace, that night. No restoration of peace that night by these. And actually, they were combative criminals that night. And they aggravated the situation. And I know, you know, one of the things when you're putting together these groups, you want aggressive police officers. Usually they find aggressive police officers who've made quite a bit of number of collars because they know when they put them in a unit that they'll continue that trend. In Memphis, Tennessee, the first 17 days, they had 12 homicides. This Scorpion unit was put together quite a while ago, and they had carte blanche to run the streets. You know, and that's usually the case. I know when I worked in policing, we had plainclothes units that were under the supervision of the special ops lieutenant. And they would say to the regular patrol people, leave those people alone. They're doing good work. They taking crime off the street. I mean, the unit did tremendous work in taking guns off the streets prior to this incident. But what we know is that this incident that happened tonight probably is not the first one that happened. Because if you look
they have more people coming out. They have more people coming out saying this unit is fucking up.
Exactly. If you look at their approach, they were too comfortable. They were too orchestrated for this to be the first time that they've executed a mob's type assault on an individual.
Well, let me ask you this question. I'm sorry to interrupt, but let me ask you this question. So I noticed when we've had these incidents, you've had groups. Now, I've always wondered, and I don't know if you can take yourself into the mindset of the group of people that's coming. The fact that people know that they have to know what they're doing is excessive. And they have to know that they do have body cams, and I don't know how they justify if they're not being seen, but shouldn't there be someone in the group, we saw it with George Floyd or whatever, that no one acts? Is there someone? I would think that in light of everything that's been going on lately over the last, you know, decade or so at least, that someone there saying that we are actually beating this person, we are actually kicking this person, and everybody, all these other officers are standing around a party to this. I mean, he literally kicked the man like he was a martial artist or something like that. What is the mindset? Is it just a mindset to say we're just above the law? I see it all the time. I know police officers that speed, that run lights, that whatever, and they know there's going to be no recourse for that. So is this the same thing?
Absolutely, Kevin. You hit it spot on when you said above the law. What happened is this group had so much success. They had so much kudos. They went out every night and they felt that they can do whatever they wanted to because their success overrid their errors. if you look at the psychology behind this, is that when individuals put on these uniforms, you go into a regular police uniform and then you go into a special uniform. You have acquired narcissism. Acquired narcissism gives you a great deal of courage to do things in a group mentality that normally you wouldn't do if you were an individual. I can't believe that those individuals didn't know right from wrong that night. However, they participated as a group. It's a little bit of peer pressure, but it's more than that. It's more than just peer pressure. It's arrogant pressure that they can do whatever they wanted to do. And it goes back to the old mentality of policing. The night belongs to us. The street belongs to us. Well, guess what? The street belongs to the people. They belong to the city. And we'll see the results of this as it moves forward.
All right. So I heard some of the things you were saying, and I respect your opinion, and thank you for being on the show. Everything, just giving that perspective because I think it's important for people to hear it. But like you talked about the acronym, and you said it was a street crime like unit. So would reckless driving be categorized as a street crime?
Excellent question. The first thing many of us ask is, why is an elite group like this focused on reckless driving? If it was even reckless driving, perhaps they felt there was a weapon in the car. Perhaps they felt there was some other felony going on, but there was no evidence that was the case. And I probably say there was no evidence there was reckless driving. We don't know what the motive was, but for them to approach that vehicle with such disdain and evil and pull him out for reckless driving, I mean, a lot of us are smarter than that. We know that's not the case.
And
something more to
you mentioned
something more to this, man. It's something more to that.
Yeah, because you mentioned the success of the group. So how do they measure success?
Well,
like I don't like, how would you measure success in this for a group like this? What is the goals of the group? Like,
well, they were looking
to
to
beat
take
people
guns
up on the street.
No, they were looking to take guns off the street. They was looking to fight violent felony crimes, robbery, assaults, rapes. That was their function, and perhaps they had some success with that. But we really don't know what method they use to do that in the past. So we do know they were an aggressive group, and I really think even beyond this incident, we have to look at other incidents that they were involved in and how many other people were injured.
Miles,
but to get those things off of the street, wouldn't you need to stop it while it's happening? Like, the police don't really stop crime; they respond to crime. It's usually they hear about it, something that has happened already. So this unit, would they be catching people in the act of robbing and gun shootouts and jump in there like a superhero or something like that, stopping it? Like, the way these things are described, they never really fit the actual reality of what's going on. It's like, oh, we're trying to get guns off the street. Okay. How many guns did you remove? Because you can count that. And how did you remove them? You're trying to stop rape. How did the percentage of reported rapes go down? Did you actually catch somebody in the act? Did you catch somebody at a bar putting something in someone else's drink? Like, there's ways to me that you can measure these things that people like to say are the goals.
Well, certainly, you can measure them by the amount of gun arrests they made. And, reports indicate that they made quite a few gun arrests. How they made those arrests, or whether or not they illegally, broke the law. Let's say that night, perhaps they would have went in Tyree car and found a weapon. Would they have permission to even search his car?
What's the probable cause.
So,
that's what I'm trying to say. What was the probable cause?
I would say with this group, based on their behavior, is that probable cause wasn't even a concern of this. I mean, I would say probably that they were violating people's rights and breaking the laws from Jumpstart. I mean, evident by their behavior that night, they were too comfortable. They were too comfortable with their behavior. And like you said earlier, Kelvin, with the body cameras on, the lack of supervision. One of the things, I used to teach a course called the DNA of corruption, the psychologically disposition of police officers who engage in corruption. And one of the things that you have here is when you have free will policing, you go out in the night and you patrol and be proactive and find the guns and arrest people. When you have a lack of supervision and lack of oversight, 100% you're going to have corruption. 100% you're going to have rogue cops. And that's what you had that night. If you notice, there was no supervisor on the scene on the first time and the second time. Now, I haven't heard the radio transmissions, which I really would like to hear, to see if there was a supervisor requested or see if supervisors heard what was going on, and actually how many number of supervisors were working and what supervisors was in charge of this unit. And and why weren't they present on that scene to stop this from happening? And what instructions were they given? That remains to be seen.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Miles.
Right.
The question is, if the response, you mentioned that the response to this incident is sort of like the blueprint moving forward. With the system, I guess with respect to that justice system there. What should the community response be to these type of things? We have marches, we have protests, and then it happens. And honestly, I don't have to watch. I didn't watch the video. Like we were saying in the in the pre-show. Like I don't. I have to be very careful of the things that I put in my head now, the things I allow my mind to digest. And I just literally had the same conversation with my son. But I didn't see this particular video, but I've seen video like it again and again and again. What should the community, just coming from your background, what should an effective community response be?
Well, I think one of the brothers said that, I think we're burnt out. I think we stand, but we don't stand long. And we have to probably be more proactive in making sure the legal system and justice system works for us. One of the things we have in many law enforcement agencies, and I'll say we have depletion of African American males in policing. But look what we've seen. We've seen 5 African American males in the system or in the policing, and they perform the same act of the culture of what we see white male officers perform.
Right.
So I'm at the end of the day, I'm a father, I'm a black man, and I'm at my wits' end. I know I've seen the protests, we've seen all the other things that go around along with that, and I think every scenario that you can imagine of a black male being murdered at this point have occurred. Right. Absent a meteorite falling out the sky, we have sustained every type of assault from government. Because we gotta, and I remind people that police officers are a branch of the executive of the government. They are the closest government agent or authority that patrols our community. Oftentimes we hear the politicians sit there and go on the left side of these officers, but they have the power for legislation. They have the power to change laws. They have the power to change commissioners. They have the power to change a lot of things that can force the hand of policing to change. So the executive branch of government is in partnership with the policing. And for them to remove themselves and say, oh, the policing are going wild, we're here for you, they're one. So I think one of the things is we got to be mindful of our elected officials, where they stand on policing and where they stand on policing issues.
Miles, let me ask you this question. I'm sorry.
Also, Derek, what you mentioned, the blueprint. We always hear that there's a process for police being terminated. There's this arduous, long process of due process that they have to have. We now see that that's not the case.
That was my question. This is the first time I didn't see administrative leave. Even with video, I didn't see administrative leave, and I didn't see that ultimate word, pending an investigation. This was so immediate. Why do you think that is?
Well, I'm only on what Brother Benjamin Crump said today. He said, it's amazing, which he's a representative for the family. He said it's amazing how now that you have 5 black officers involved, this process goes so quickly. And whereas in many cases you've seen other colored officers involved, particularly white officers, and they have this due process. I mean, we catch it on both ends, but this is the right call here. This is the right side where they have to be terminated, fired, indicted immediately. And hopefully, when we see others, hopefully we don't have to see this again. But unfortunately,
they can't say it can happen like this now. They can't say it. This is the blueprint. They can never say it again. They can't.
So moving forward, hopefully we see quick and swift action, not only just on homicides, a murder, but even on behavior such as, even on behavior of assaulting or behavior that's not indicative of someone who's serving in a uniform, that they should be terminated.
So police brutality is a business, actually. So banks and financial institutions, they sell bonds and collect money off of police brutality because, people can't pay, so they take out bonds. So it's back again to what Kelvin has said many times over. You got to find a way to get into people's pockets. I think they can have their process, and I think there should be a process on our end where we try to find a way that we can sue and have the money come away from not from taxpayers, but or tax dollars, and have it come from the police pension or the department itself.
Well, that also qualified immunity, and that seems to be something that's toggled back and forth depending on what elected officials you have. I know the governor of New York, who was kind of like silent on it, now says she's against qualified immunity. And qualified immunity is basically to say that when police act in their authority, they can't be subject to lawsuits. But the question is, when are they acting in their authority? When are they doing the right thing? When they're not doing the right thing? And what you see now in many places where police officers actually have to get insurance, they have to insure themselves, and they have incidents. Just like a car, if you get in car crashes, guess what? Your insurance falls.
Yep.
If you're a police officer and you have extensive allegations that are proven, or you have situations, your insurance go up. It may be a point where you can't be insurable, But certainly, I understand if you become personally liable, maybe that might force somebody's hand. But with this behavior, I don't know if anything would have stopped. I think you said it. I think this is just evil. This is evil, and no type of money and no type of rules or laws is going to stop evil.
And I want to respond to Juan's question really quick when he said the George Floyd situation where they were immediately fired. I think the difference is George Floyd was actually brought to us by video. This video was released later. These guys were fired before the video came out.
Yeah,
and that's after the police commissioner had reviewed the videos. And and I was surprised at her responses, because usually you have a high-ranking individuals who are kind of like, let the investigation take its course. But she came out and she was asked from 1 to 10, where would you put this at in terms of the level of these officers' aggressiveness? She said a 10. She said this was an immediately termination. And you got to be proud of her for doing that and having the guts that kind of like, change the course of where policing say you should go. I don't know how the mayor or what the mayor viewed on it, but at the end of the day, when you
talk about their boss?
I'm talking about the police commissioner, yes.
Commissioner, yes.
There's some people that think that she should be culpable as well. This group, that you don't just always find out that this is a rogue group because this happens. It was just, and again, I have no way of knowing that, but it's almost like when you got a kid in school that's starting fights or something like that. Your kid. I think she knows her staff. These guys, I don't think just happen to have a bad night. There's usually a trail, because I don't think you can go from 0 to 60 like this. I don't think you can become this person or this group in one incident, in one collar. I think that this is something else. So some people believe, of course, now, Miles, everybody protects their own behind. Nobody, everybody else, these are just, everybody's salt of the earth, and this just happened, and we're shocked as everybody else. But the truth of the matter is, how you get these guns off the streets, how you infiltrate certain things. There's certain things I think people have to do to get dirty, to get down with the situation. I think there may have been some, and I give you credit. Yes, this is a boss, and she's going to say, look, it was the right call. But I'm wondering, as Dee alluded to earlier, if more stuff is going to come out, because I think some other heads are going to roll behind this. But I'm sorry, Dee, I cut you off. Go ahead.
I agree. No, I agree.
Just response to what you said, Kelvin. I think that there needs to be, perhaps we'll see this Department of Justice investigation on the department and on this incident, to see if those facts are true, have developed where there has been continuous behavior that has been ignored by leadership. I mean, I think perhaps hub decisions and the decisions of the supervisors involved should be looked at, and it should be looked at outside of the department.
I agree.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I got an echo. I got to turn me off a little bit. Is everybody getting an echo?
Not now.
No. Okay. Now I think we all good. No,
I'm getting one.
I'm getting one too. All right. So is it coming across on the show? I don't know.
No, I don't hear you. I don't hear echo.
All right. Anyway. But same echoes. Yeah. So Ron's question. Bring up Ron's question.
Would they be able to search the car? Depends. What if the gun were found in plain view inside the car?
Well, I think there's something called the fruits of the poisonous tree, and that's if the initial reason for the incident is not true, then everything that comes out of that is not true. And I'm still concerned with the reckless driving allegation that's going on here. You know, if there was a gun, of course, there will be the police saying that this was an armed individual. You know, and one of the things we're starting to see is that more and more of the black people getting assaulted, they don't have that argument. This was a young man who, you know, once I said to one of my brothers, he's a skateboarder. Now we know as black folks, we know a lot of brothers who skateboard. When you skateboard, you are not out there doing drive-bys and doing robberies. You know, and not the stereotype, but we know that this is a person who was a college student. This is a person who was a father. He came from a good family. So in terms of that old school way of, he had this many warrants, he got arrested this many times, that wasn't the case here. And even if you find a weapon, that wasn't the case because he wasn't using it in the course of that mauling and that assault that they ensued on him. It was a beatdown. It was a lynching. You know, and I don't think it's any short of the word lynching. That's what it was. It was a lynching.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. People are saying like more training, right? I know that nail technicians go for a certain amount, like longer than police officers. All kind of people go longer than most trainers and police officers. Most trainers are 6 months miles. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Now, should it be a longer training and then it should be inside your daily, your weekly, or your monthly thing, your duties to be some kind of training? I know you go to train to shoot your gun to see how well you shoot your gun, but how well do you behave in calm situations?
Well, you know, I'm gonna go away from the normal answer because you know I see a lot of people talk about training. We all have had jobs at one time, and always the default answer to get out of trouble is training. I think the selection of people that's coming in the department has to be the paramount means of getting good people into this job. I think that the hyper aggressive, narcissistic attitude or indication of that is something that we got to look for. I think the psychological of individuals, the background checks of individuals, because they're having trouble hiring, they're hiring more people. They're skipping. They're not dotting their I's. They're not crossing their T's. I think that have to be looked at. But as much as they say it's a training issue, how do you train somebody not to maul and lynch somebody? You know, policing always want to say, and I was in it. You know, whenever we wrote a report or something, or we responded, what we'll say is, you know what, we will address it through training. You know, and we knew all the time that this person was a mess. How do you train somebody who's a mess? How do you train somebody who's a narcissist? How do you train somebody who's racist? How do you train somebody who's evil? The bottom line is that those people have to be identified before they get a badge and a gun. So that has to be looked at even more so.
Yeah, Kelvin, unmute yourself because you're on mute if you want to say anything. So make sure you know.
They're also getting positive reinforcement.
Kelvin, fix the mic. Because you the one that was
It's my mic. I'm doing it. Okay, I'll mute.
Yeah. Go ahead, Derek. I mean, Damien.
They're also getting positive reinforcement. So I'm not a fan of the training. I'm not a fan of applauding the commissioner. None of that. Everybody needs to be held accountable because that is another, in my opinion, approach to making a change where people can't cover their own behinds. So everybody's being held responsible. So now they have to start holding each other accountable because they know that they're going to receive some type of consequence for it. But I just look at it and it's just like, if you let's go back to the sports reference, like Kelvin said. If you get players and you reward them every time they do a dirty hit on a quarterback, and then you say, "Oh, dirty," I don't agree with dirty hits. It's a terrible thing. What are you talking about? This is why you put them on the team. This is why you have them there to do certain things. Mm-hmm. This is why you form that unit. That's why they have that name. Nobody thinks of the word scorpion and thinks of some like peace in our community.
No one think of koala bears when you think of scorpion, right?
Right. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, it's true.
You can't insult our intelligence that much.
Yeah. Well, Miles, some other stuff was going. Go ahead, Miles. Go ahead.
No, I mean the question still remains, and I think that Tyree Nicols is one black male that was killed at the hands of the police. But I think, as I initially said, there were 12 homicides in the first 17 days in Memphis, and we didn't hear one thing about those deaths. And I suffice to say that there will be many more, and that crime is pretty much off the hook and off the chain there. And the question is, the responsibility to fix those is the police. But I think that as a community, we have to say that, guess what? maybe the responsibility in fixing that has to be in the community, because the police is not doing a good job at it. They're actually contributing to the crime in some ways. At least on January 7th, they contributed to the crime. And two, we as a community, I remember growing up and, growing up in South Jamaica, Queens, and we had a community block a network. It was Miss Jordan up the block. She organized and collected, I guess, $3 from each parent, and they had community block watches, and they had other things, because I think that we keep going back to the government, and if you have to ask the government for something, you're in trouble already. And if you have the police for something, you're in trouble already. The police don't hand out lollipops. So I think somewhere along the line, as a community, we have to say enough is enough, and we have to be our own policing in some ways. I don't know how that will look. I gave an example of the community block watch when I was growing up. I think that we have to be conscious of our own, because nobody's going to be conscious of us. And there's even those who look like us, as we know now, that are not conscious of us. And those people we have to watch out for too.
Yeah, I agree,
Yeah,
Miles.
I'm with you.
I think we need to understand as a community, we have to get in our head that we allow ourselves to be policed. You know what I'm saying? And if we get that mentality going first, and then we're able to communicate that moving forward, and create some sort of like messaging around that, then maybe, whether it be, through the media, whether it be politically, or, probably a combination of a bunch of things, then maybe some of this stuff will start to turn around, but we do definitely need to understand and be able to communicate that we allow ourselves, and communicate with ourselves first, that we allow ourselves to be policed. There's an agreement, you know what I mean, there in place, that, you know what I mean, and we need to all be aware of, so.
Yeah, I respect that. I just wanted to say, like, this comes full circle with the conversation about reparations, because one of the things I can remember, at least for myself, I never thought about committing a crime until I couldn't buy food. I never, you know what I mean? Like, until I couldn't take care of myself, like until I was so hungry when I didn't know what I was gonna do. So that type of feeling is what could drive some people to commit and heinous acts when they have no other options. And a lot of times, poverty and impoverishment that was brought on a specific people by this government and by the people who benefit from it, who happen to be white and very comfortable with a lot of things, they're the ones profiting and benefiting from it. And then they go around and it's just a system where I think reparations will do a lot more than people believe, because they think it's just a financial thing, and then they want to turn it into a financial thing. It's making amends for hundreds of years of atrocities that have not happened anywhere else in the world. And that, I just wanted to end it there, because it's really important to think about it that way, where there are some solutions to these things. And respect to everybody. Thank you for just everything that you said, because it helped me in this moment where I'm dealing with a lot of anger. So
I want to get Juan's comment, and then I'm going to make a comment after that. I'm going to ask you another question after
Yeah,
that.
you made a
Can you
beautiful
bring
comment.
Juan's comment? Juan,
Yeah, beautiful comment. One says, we used to have community get-togethers. It allowed people to get to know each other, which built trust in the community that seems to have disappeared over the years. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
here in Long Island, we know, I kind of lament the time when, I knew most of my neighbors, or all my neighbors. It's kind of changed a little bit, you know what I mean? But then again, I'm in a neighborhood that kind of, we don't sort of have a lot of the problems with crime. I live in a very decent neighborhood, I think, you know. But I think that's a great point. I never lived, I've always been a suburban kid, I moved, what to a place which I guess what you would call the ghetto at times. I've lived there once or twice, and I definitely felt the difference. And there was no, and it was, I remember just taking forever just to learn who my neighbors was. That was a big thing. It took me forever just to know the people on the block. And by the time I got to know everybody, I was gone. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So maybe there's some truth to that. I don't know how they do that.
Yeah. Only one thing I want to say, well, Malcolm X was right. He said they're either corrupt police or incompetent. The black community is over policed. And this is just
Yeah.
going to show this is Malcolm keeps proving himself right. But before we let you go, Miles, I want you to see this one video. So it was a show at the Apollo. It was Drake, I think, Dipset, and I forgot who the other artists were up there. And they had a video, cops were filming the people coming outside of the Apollo, and I want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, well, I saw that video for one thing, and I know people are kind of like concerned about the imaging, the recording of themselves, the photo imaging, et cetera, et cetera. But one of the reassuring things I got out of that video is that those blue jackets are community affairs. Those community affairs typically are individuals who develop video, social media, and those type of platforms for the department. So if that's what they said was going on, I would tend to believe that was occurring on, being that it was community affairs. They're filming that situation. I don't see any other use they would have for those videos, that video at the time, because if you look along the street, there's cameras all along the streets, police cameras all along the streets, that survey the street area, so forth and so on. So I will mark that as, perhaps, they should be more transparent in what they're doing, and they should probably let people know beforehand why they're filming or why they have video with people coming outside of the Apollo Theater.
Yeah, wouldn't they need video releases to use it publicly, or they don't need that?
No, not in that case, because it's a public venue. They come out of public space. It will be no different from you and I recording, recording individuals in a common area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think that's where they missed the point on. They didn't market it right. Let people know. I tell people all the time, they run to surveil you. They would have been on roofs with some high power cameras, and you'd have never known you was getting surveilled anyway.
They have a whole movie and TV unit. They have a surveillance unit, and those people in the blue jackets with the equipment they were using, they're not the people that they would use.
Yeah. So Miles, man, before you go, man, what's going on in your world? What you got? Anything to promote? Anything you're doing?
Well, I just like to say,
those big checks.
Yeah, you know me, D, man. Me and D go back a long way, man. So when I retired in 2022, I started a company, a security company. I was doing celebrity security, running around the country, the world with different high-ranking people, and came back home here, and I started to hire people. I have almost 100 employees now in security industry, train individuals, get them their licenses. I have a whole program that bringing young people, who's going to school, and allow them to get security licenses and have viable employment. I signed on to the fair wage push, where the wages that we pay a fair amount, and they're healthy for individuals looking to get a jump start. So yeah, I'm here. I'm actually busier than when I was a lieutenant in the police department, because the private sector, man, it's when you're going up, you're a partner with everybody, and my number one partner is the government and taxes and the Department of Labor and all those other things. But it's feel good, man, to give people jobs. This is a black-owned company, black-owned space. 80% of our personnel are people of color. And we've gotten a lot of people licenses and viable employment, full-time employment. It's our third year, which is unheard of, but we're moving to 401k, medical coverage, and different spaces. So
damn, Miles, we got to chop it up, man, because I got some
listen,
buildings, man. So how can
listen,
people find your business? Where can they find
it? We're in 4 states now, so I didn't expect this to happen. I was just on an airplane ride, and I had a small conversation with somebody who was the CEO of a large company, and they gave me 4 of their stores. So that became a good thing. But I'm at www.7secure24.com. My website. If they go on there, they can send me an email, and we can set up, send me their resume, and we interview them, and we have good rate of retention, which is important to me, man. I want to hire people, retain them, and I want to pay them every Friday, not every other week, man. And they love that at 4:30 in the morning, their money going into the bank. It's nothing sweeter than that.
So yeah, that's what we're doing here. I need to give me a job, Miles. I need some money, goddammit.
Listen, man, you got to look, man. You got to look already, man. All you got to do is show up. We're ready. You already know. You got to do a show.
I like a check. We got to check, but now I would really want to help some young people. We'll talk about that on the side, because we help young people get their license. We'll see what we can do together on that. Man.
Yeah, and interesting enough, I always teach my guys and girls on the use of force. The use of force, respecting individual spaces. And it's real important. That people are safe, not only from the threat, but safe from what they perceive as an individual helping them. And that's what we need more in policing. So I don't know when I'm going to give up this public safety thing I have going on, but hopefully I'll be able to enjoy myself and, drink a cup of coffee with the newspaper every day and just relax, man, because it's rough out here. It's rough out here in the streets, man. So, God bless all y'all, man. My brotherly love is strong. And, I'm still mentoring young people, got mentoring programs going on young people. Helping them stay out the streets, and that's what we do. That's what we got when we came up. We got that.
That's right. Yep.
We give that back.
Up. All right, brother Miles. Appreciate you, man. You be safe out there, man. I wish nothing but the best for your business. Enjoy your retirement,
brother.
Well, I love you, brothers, man. Please stay safe and thank you for what you're doing. Okay, I appreciate you.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Thank
Peace,
you.
bro. All right.
Am I still giving you guys echo?
Nah, you better
not
now,
anymore.
man. Since you got off the Android shot, I had to give you a shot. I had to give you a shot. The Android, man. I'm on the phone. Everybody on here got Androids except for me. Now,
you with the evil empire. You with
see, I'm wearing
Apple.
black. I'm down with them. Down with the black. Just like the motherfuckers. Steve Jobs and some bitch. But no, Jamie, man, take us to commercial, brother.
Jam.
Jamie,
When you get a chance.
Jam.
he's slow as fuck.
Orchard Blue Counseling Services, or known as OBS, is a private mental health practice based in Southeast Queens, New York. OBS's founder and holistic psychotherapist, Serene Prince, is a Queens native with Caribbean roots. Serene is committed to providing culturally competent holistic psychotherapy to diverse communities while curating a safe healing space for Black and Brown people with compassion and awareness of their total being. As experts in children and teens, we have curated a mental health and wellness community where children are heard, guided in developing a healthy self-esteem, supported in strengthening their inherited resilience, and learn skills to manage their emotions to develop positive relationships with parents, adults, and their peers. Orchard Blue Counseling Services is designed to help children and adults discover their inner healer as we take the journey with our clients to work towards self-acceptance, self-love, and resilience to manage life's uncertainties and embrace its wonders. Our private practice extends to providing consultant services for personal life transitions and business development, parenting guidance and support, and clinical supervision for mental health students and therapists. And be sure to book our founder, Serene Prince, as your next holistic speaker, offering your audience a life-changing experience. Now that you have taken the first step to learning about us, we invite you to walk towards a healing and progressive life with Orchard Blue Counseling Services. Contact us for your free consultation where applicable. Email or call us at info@orchardbluecounseling.com or area code 516-200-1174. You can also connect with us at our website and social media pages, orchardbluecounseling.com, or on Instagram at orchardblue_counseling SBCS, or Facebook at Orchard Blue Counseling.
Yo, 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 what's up, what's up, what's up? If you like what you're seeing from the Four Brothers here, give us a thumbs up, like and subscribe to the channel so you can stay notified when we go live and post new content. Thank you for the support. Yo, we're back, like and subscribe, tell a friend, Real quick, Jim, yeah, there we go. Samsung Galaxy Note 10 for the win. Come on, oh, y'all all bugging. Y'all all bugging. Ain't nobody saying they're making no movies with a Samsung. They're making movies with Apple phone.
Damon, could you read that one more time? I couldn't hear it for some reason. I don't know what happened with the audio.
Bastard motherfucker. Let me see. Let's get it. This is what. Oh, damn it! Now my phone acting up. Y'all motherfuckers trying to jinx it. Let me see. Attorney Ben Crump says he's going to sue Florida Governor Ron DeSantis over African American studies courses. Jamie, show us the clip, please.
Thank you. And now to a developing story in Tallahassee. Black activists marching on the state capitol outraged over the governor's rejection of a proposed college course.
And civil rights attorney Ben Crump is filing a lawsuit against the governor over that decision. Local 10's Alex Finney has more now on what's happening.
Time out for hypocrisy.
It was a pivotal moment in the fight to keep the advanced placement African American history course as it is.
Black history is American history.
Well, here are the 3 students joining in on the fight to see the AP course in Florida classrooms. They are set to serve as the plaintiffs in a lawsuit against Governor Ron DeSantis.
It's not fair when you have Italian history and culture classes and German history and culture classes, European history and culture classes, and there's not one for African Americans when there's such a fundamental role in our country.
Attorney Ben Crump did not hold back, announcing his intent to file that lawsuit against the governor over the ban of AP African American studies.
We're here to give notice to Governor DeSantis.
And on Wednesday, the College Board announced that a new reworked version of the course is set to be introduced February 1st. Politicians, faith leaders, and community here today pushing back on the idea of changing, quote, the uncomfortable parts of Black history.
We don't need the course rework. There's been a conglomerate of college academians that have worked to put this course together.
This AP pilot course was rolled out in 2022. The State Department of Education banning the course in all Florida schools January of this year, saying it violates state law, referencing critical race theory and the Stop Woke Act, essentially putting limits on how race can be taught in the classroom.
While the full and accurate historical record might make some uncomfortable, good. That is the point of why we have to teach accurate history. Because when you don't teach history, we're bound to repeat it.
Now, in terms of this new AP course that is being introduced, you'll remember that the State Department of Education said that that is something that they would revisit and reconsider if the framework was obviously reversed or revisited as well. And one thing we do know is that this is expected to roll out February 1st. We do not know exactly what this whole curriculum is about in terms of what changes may have been made, but more to come on all of that. For now, this is the very latest live in Tallahassee. Alex Finney, Local 10 News.
Tell you one thing, Chuck D was right. I mean, instead of taking a nation of millions to hold us back, my goodness. I mean, they just burned the candle at both ends. I mean, my goodness.
They don't stop, but they the real bad boy.
I'm saying, so you can't even learn about it. Like we done beat you down, and I don't want you to know about it. Like you can't tell nobody. Like I
read a little bit about the course. It's a free course that if you take it, you get college credit. They piloted it in about 60 schools, and then there was upwards of like 200 other schools that wanted the program in their school across the country for high school students. So for some reason in Florida, they're banning it. They don't want it in Florida, but schools across the country are like, bring it. We want this. Also, college ain't cheap. So if you can get some extra college credits early, what are you doing to the children? What are you doing to those families who have to pay out of pocket for their children to go to college? Mm-hmm. It might help some kids get into college because they have that experience, and they might get some early credit, make a school want to accept them.
Well, yeah, that's always the bonus for AP courses, obviously. You know what I mean? My own, kid, my oldest had some AP courses, and that was the thing. When he was a senior, he could take opens. He had, he could take some open periods because he had enough credits, and he chose to take AP courses for free college credit. The question is that I have is what's in the curriculum. You know what I mean? In terms of this, I understand that it's had success in other places. So obviously there's value in it, right? But what's being taught? There are a substantial amount of people. If we're gonna have a discussion on Black history, and Black concerns, there's gonna be, we have to have a holistic, kind of discussion. Some of it, for instance, is like say queer theory. All right, is how much queer theory should be taught with regard to a black, with regard to black history. You know what I mean? How much then you have black feminism, right? I agree with it but personally in theory, but again, what's how are you going to handle it? They also, and the third thing that those and as again, I'm mentioning the parts that DeSantis mentioned in his press conference regarding it. The last thing he said was reparations. Now, anytime you have a conversation with reparations, you're automatically going to get some pushback. They had, and he's hiding behind a state law that says that you can't teach a person might be oppressed or privileged based on a state law. All right, it's based on state law, so you can't. So basically, they created a state law where you can't teach that anything dealing with a person being privileged or oppressed.
So can I counter that and just say, what about the Boston Tea Party? Would they have to then eliminate that because the American Revolution was about them being oppressed, right? Also, the American history textbooks since their inception have been inaccurate. So are they trying to ban them? They teach inaccurate American history. That is not a valid argument.
I'm not making an argument.
It's been proven that it's inaccurate. That all I'm gonna say is it's been proven. Not saying it's you, but just it's been proven that American history textbooks that are sold all over the country for at least 100 years inaccurate.
Right. Intentionally inaccurate. But see, that's the thing, Damien. They know intentionally. But now you're right, of course. But now you're having a different conversation. You're having a conversation of do you have the power to teach your history, to get yourself included in that lesson, and then we have to decide. But before we even get to that conversation, we have to decide what should be added, because I don't know how they came up with with the curriculum. I don't know. I wasn't involved in that, but they're going to be, I promise you that black people are not, obviously we're not monolithic. There are plenty of people who are going to say, I don't think queer theory should be taught in AP African studies. They have their separate thing. If it's queer, if it's gay, the LGBTQ, they have their separate thing.
I don't want to conflate the issue though. If we're talking about just banning something and citing laws based around critical race theory, right? That's what it seems like the major argument is. So it seems like it's really about the fact that it touches on the topics related to critical race theory. That's why they're banning it. Didn't seem like they mentioned anything about any other group, any other identity. Seems about they're focusing specifically on African Americans. So I really hope we can just converse about that specific group, because then we can conflate it with bringing a bunch of other groups and identities in that may not be the target. I'm sorry, you can read the comment.
Juan says that's apples to oranges. They teach that the Boston Tea Party was the start of the Revolutionary War, not that the U.S. is a perpetual victim because of England. That's a huge difference.
It's not a huge. I don't want to argue with that.
All right, he says critical race theory and praxis stems from critical theory, a subset of the Communist Manifesto.
Oh my Lord, I'm not commenting on this. I feel like this is not even a conversation that should be had here, because I don't want to say certain things, because this is an attack on black people. So if you're comfortable with an attack on black people, I'm gonna just say that.
Well,
if you're gonna defend that and jump in front of that and try to find whatever finagle you can, you have a problem and you need to address it.
Juan says it's not teaching accurate history though. My 16-year-old took it as a dual enrolled college student. It was teaching critical race proxy, a course I took in law school. Yeah. And Ms. KC says college board punked out on this. They changed the standards to accommodate this racist POS. She also goes on, she says it starts from the diaspora. So that's already problematic. Any history course about Black Americans need to start with African history.
There's never this much pushback for anything for any other group. There is an attack on Black people. Stop. Stop furthering the attack. Stop supporting it. Just leave that.
Facts. I agree with you, Damien, on that shit. It's like that's why sometimes when they say people of color, it seems like certain people of color don't be down with this people of color.
Well, listen. when you have enough people, my thing is this. I get what you're saying, but from a pragmatic standpoint, right? Everyone's going to get an opinion, all right? And you can't expect. And what are we having an argument of what blackness is? You know what I mean, or what you've been taught? Well, that's the thing. You know what I mean. So now, this one, you're going to have certain people that are going to say, yeah, that's not as important. And in order to add this in, what are we going to take out? You know what I mean? So what didn't get added what didn't get added into the curriculum because you wanted to add this part, and how important was that one part? And is that one part enough? Is that one part important enough to potentially, I don't know, I guess derail or whatever, to add or whatever you want to call it, into the whole
Eric,
thing.
that's a good point.
So
that's a good point. That's a good point. I can't argue with that. I would just say, when you pilot a curriculum, what you do is you evaluate it over time. Somebody who, my background is in education. I've been in the school system. I've been a tutor. I wrote curriculum. I evaluated curriculum. You evaluate it and improve it over time. You don't just ban it. You say, hey, we like these things about it, but these might be not inaccurate. Maybe y'all got to go back and do your research or add this, or what about these subject matters that you can bring about? And
to play devil's advocate, that's what Ron DeSantis is talking about. He's basically saying he doesn't want it, get it out. And then it's not his job to create the curriculum, right? Someone's got to come and create something else and bring that back to the table.
But he was wildly inaccurate with his history.
Of course,
he was wildly inaccurate, and then I think his motive, I think, as veiled as it was, it just didn't add up.
It doesn't. But here's my point. It does. Of course, he's inaccurate, and it doesn't really even matter what his true motive is, right? He's got just enough. The point he's making is one that we, really, the point he's making is we have to have that conversation. And I don't know that I don't necessarily know. Listen, I'm not writing a curriculum. I'm not an educator. All right. I don't know what you should add into an AP course. All right. But I have to wonder, right? Okay, so fine, it's causing a problem. Can you just come back and I want there to be, I think there should be an AP African history, African American history course I think it should exist. But I don't know what you're going to add into that. That's a conversation for someone else. And so now I'm just listening to the pros and the cons, this argument versus the other argument.
Well, see, Derek, this is where I disagree, though. I think motive is important. Because the question is, do you want role? That's what I'm saying. Do you want, in other words, do you want to better somebody? And what I'm saying, and
gravity.
Right. That's what I'm saying. In other words, this is not for the betterment of people. This still is, I want to make sure that I can keep people in a certain mindset to never let them be expressed. Right. In other words, I don't want you to attain greatness. I don't want you to necessarily know you come from it either. I mean, in other words, it always just seems to be, no matter how this is played out, I guess to Damien's larger point is it's still an attack. You could chop it up, you can slice it, you can dice it, you can puree it. It's just always gonna be an attack. And I mean, but he's taking from the playbook of where he wants to go to the White House. So he knows how to get that base going. He got a ready-made base. He just needs to be a little more reformed with his,
If he can slow it up. Yeah. All right. If he can at least slow it up and stick a finger in its eye or throw a fly in the ointment, whatever analogy you want, that plays to the base that he is most interested in. That's what's in it for him. We know this. But in the meantime, how do we get an African American history course?
Stop buying Bentleys and buy a school.
Right. We need our own schools. That's where reparations could go to as well, because you need money to buy land and build schools and pay teachers. So reparations might help too. That brings it back full circle for anybody who thinks inflation is a reason why Black people should not get reparations.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't mean to laugh, but
Yeah.
Listen,
y'all better not mess with Damien tonight. We not having it tonight. My
Nah, man.
not for it tonight.
It's a touchy because people. It's always when it come to us. It's always an argument. Jews
Right,
got it.
yeah.
Japanese get it. Motherfuckers, Ukrainians got fucking their own reparations. Indian do shit over here got 40 million. Like it's 40 billion. And more and more and more and more.
And
You know
they're
what I'm saying? So
being
it's just
asked
like,
to
come
come
on,
over.
Yeah.
And they're being invited over.
Yeah.
In Haiti, you know what they doing to people in Haiti? Like, sorry,
Yo,
I'm sorry, Demond. Please
nah,
speak.
you're
I'm
right.
muting
this
myself.
country, listen, this country has been built using a certain system. All right, things have been put together a certain way, and this is the structure that we have. This is what we've gotten. Removing that is like removing a leg from a table. All right. Yes, you may need to repair the table or make a better table by putting in another, but you're gonna have to take that. Can you live with it? How long can you live without that leg? All right. What's it do? Can someone make a bet? Can you make a better table? Can you convince someone, the people who own the table, that you can create a better table that way? And that's kind of like where we are, I think, right now. You know what I mean with that. You know, so I've seen video in us as people. I'm just going to say we are very distracted. I've said it before. We are just very distracted. I don't, we like our things like everybody. We've all been taught, like the American people, period. We're American people, American culture. We want our things now. We don't want to be inconvenienced. I don't necessarily know that the bus boycott, from the 60s could work right now. I don't know that we have it in us to boycott, on that level anymore.
Well, those are two different things. It could work. It could always work. In other words, people always respond to that money.
Listen.
Yeah.
I've seen.
The question is, are we dedicated enough?
Well,
to put something into put something into play. Point. That's the thing. And that's what it is. Well, I'll tell you this. If you keep trying running plays and they don't work, then go to the air. So that's all I'm saying.
No, I agree.
You ever see a team where they just three straight runs for no yardage? Go do something different. That's what I'm saying. We got to try something. Because I feel like this ain't it.
One says, teach Malcolm X's famous speech, The Ballot or the Bullet, the last sermon of Dr. MLK, which had the encompassing theme, I am a man, the greatness of Langston Hughes and Michael Jordan. All right.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah.
So let's move on to something else here, man.
Yeah.
Let me get it ready. An elderly Black woman assaulted and called racial slurs by a white store clerk after finding a $50 bill. Jamie, can you play the video for us, please?
And this happened in Austin County. Video shows Miss Betty Smith get into a scuffle with three now former store employees. The deputy cuffs her granddaughter while her special needs son waited in the car. They tell me they want a better response from the sheriff's office and didn't hear anything from them until we called.
I'm 65 years old and I ain't never been to jail in my life. And some of the people that got it out there, they had me in there being held captive because I had robbed and stole something out the store. See, I don't like my name and that kind of stuff.
Miss Betty Smith was taking her daily trip to Lindemann's grocery store and industry, grabbing ice cream for her son when she believes her good day turned into a great one.
I saw a $50 bill on the floor. And I told the cashier, I said, look at him, my lucky day.
That's when she says the cashier tells Miss Smith the cash might belong to a friend of theirs and demanded her to leave it there. She was the only customer in the store. As Miss Smith tried to leave with it, video shows her being stopped by three of the store employees. One of them rips the money out of her hands. She's then shoved and restrained.
I was especially scared of the one in the pink. I mean, because she had me around my neck and was she strong. And she was all in my ear. You black, you're not getting out of here.
By now, she's called her granddaughter, who jumped out of her shower to come and help. That's when things get worse.
The police officer came, one of the girls slid out of the door, but she slid out and she stood in front. Reached around her and I said, get out of the front of the door, let her out of here.
Destiny, seen in her bathrobe, gets handcuffed by the responding deputy. He also later arrests Destiny's mother, who showed up minutes later and was charged with assaulting one of the clerks. The family says the deputy never took statements from them or tried to de de-escalate the matter. The store owner has tried to rectify the situation, offering to pay her daughter's bail, even giving her the $50. She declined those offers.
I feel like when things quiet down, the same thing was going to happen to me again.
All three of the clerks are fired, but the family wants them arrested.
Why would they do this to her? Why would they think it was okay to take it that far? Like every thought process in there, from locking her in there, assaulting her, the words they use, the racial slurs, I just would want to know why.
I spoke with Sheriff Jack Brandis, who says statements, video, and even body cam footage have been forwarded to their county DA's office for consideration of potential charges against these former store employees. The store manager also spoke to me. He says they terminated those involved immediately and does not condone the way.
Try Jesus, don't try me. Listen, you couldn't put your hands on my mama at 65, and she got my special needs child in the car. Wait, I'm airing it out. You don't even have to take them to get arrested. I handle it. They obviously wanted to meet their maker. They said, no, I'm gonna go fuck with this lady. Her son is crazy. I want to meet God today. That's all it's been. I'm arranged.
Here we go. Here comes the scroll.
Come on, son. We talking about black.
Nah, that's not a scroll. That's not a scroll. I don't support that.
Flag on the play.
Nah, I don't know. Yeah. 20-second timeout.
Word up.
Gotta review that.
Word. But anyway, go ahead, Kelvin.
Well, first thing I'll say this: if I saw the $50 on the ground, it just wouldn't have been announced. It was going. That's the first thing. It was going. It didn't have to be my lucky day and all that. It was not. The other thing is just 3 people attacking to put your hands on a woman, anybody, or something like that. And the girl in the pink that was so strong, she caught the right family. I'll tell you, she definitely caught the right family. I have to say, because I know my cousins from East New York in Brownsville would have been all that. Pray about it. They don't want to hear that civility. Nah, ain't gonna be none of that. Because you put your hands on somebody that's an elder in the family. No. Every elder in the family still got Ray and them connected somewhere, and they know. That's all. You better ask somebody. So yeah, it was just like at the end of the day, what I'm saying is this whole thing that you just licensed to just treat people like they're just the bottom rung of the ladder. This thing in a new generation has been birthed that feels the same way now, and especially over the last 4 or 5 years, been like kind of empowered to just take it to that next level. And I'll tell you, I used to always hear there's not been one revolution without bloodshed, and it looks like it's coming to that because it's going too far now. People have had it. People have had enough of this foul treatment. And like Miles was saying earlier, we get it in every direction. There is no reprieve. Every single generation, every single decade talks about the same struggle, no matter what it is, no matter what level it is, no matter what industry it is, no matter what, it's always the struggle. It is always there. It is never smooth sailing. That's the reality of it. And people have gotten to the point where they're tired of it. And no matter what, there's this fight to remain in control and remain in power in things. There is such a target because of this complexion. I've never seen anything like it. It is just absolutely amazing. You take any of these national crises and make the people this color and it changes. It changes. It changes. I'm looking at asylum seekers laying on the street. I refuse to leave. If they out there long enough and that tan come on and get a little darker, you're gonna leave. You're definitely gonna leave. You're gonna leave in cuffs or you're gonna be on the plane right back to where you came from. And that's just what it is. For some reason, it just always is. And I do understand your point where it's like everybody was trying to downplay it, and people have this catchphrase, but it's gotten better. That's always the thing. That's always to pacify people. It's gotten better. I always tell people, if somebody slap you 100 times a day and say, you know what, I'm just gonna do it 99 now. That's better, right? It still hurts. Yeah. It's still 99 slaps. You know what I'm saying? And that's where you at. Yeah. But that video is ridiculous. I didn't catch where it was at. I saw the video. It looked like it's in the South. It just looked like tradition, with the store clerks and tradition. I mean, and the man is generous enough that he's willing to give her the $50 too. By the way, so pay the bill. Right, exactly. So
it's just crazy. White people always go.
Just sue the store. Sue the store.
Yeah,
sorry, I'm sorry.
No matter what situation it is, white people always go to racism. Like you just can't choke out and just say, "No, lady, you ain't going. This my friend's $50." No, you black bitch, you son of a black bitch, you whole black bitch. Like
let me
what
tell
the
you.
fuck, man?
Let me tell you this. I have to share this before we move on. I have to share this. So when I was
What
in
up,
high
Danny?
school, when I was in high school, there were some guys that accused a kid in our high school named Morgan Tucker. He went in 7-Eleven. It was next to Amityville High, 7-Eleven. And they accused Morgan Tucker. Now, mind you, Morgan got a full ride to Morehouse. He got a full ride to Tuskegee. He got a full ride to 4 different schools, one of them, and the Air Force, one of them. They accused Morgan of stealing a pack of Big Red gum, right? These 4 men that worked in the store beat Morgan up. They jumped him. We in 10th grade. They jumped Morgan in the store. There's 2 girls from my grade in there. They come back to the school. They just jumped Morgan. So everybody's like, yo, why y'all didn't do nothing? They came and told 2 seniors on the football team what happened. Them 2 seniors walked out of the cafeteria towards 7-Eleven, but by the time they got to 7-Eleven parking lot, the whole school was behind them. Now, me, I didn't go in with them. I stood on the side because my parents come from, they don't play that. When I tell you episode of cartoon where the store going up and down or a house or something, when they run at it, they tore 7-Eleven down. I'm talking about, I never seen that. Like people running out with all types of honey buns and hostess cakes and beat up the dudes in there. that's just what it was. In other words, they did something to one of our classmates. And you always know that the thugged out dudes, all they need is a reason. Oh, a fight? All right. And that's all they needed. They didn't even know what happened. But you know what I'm saying? And I remember that. But I can tell you one thing, for some reason after that, 7-Eleven changed. For some reason, 7-Eleven, right after that, started cheating students because you know what? If all the money that them students spending there, if somebody took that then 35-cent pack of gum, y'all would have been able to absorb it. You know what I'm saying? Versus the thousands of dollars that went out of that store with them students right when they came there. At the end of the day, people are gonna start having pushback, and that's just it. You light that fuse, then you're gonna get an explosion. And that's what I think we're seeing. That's the reality. And that's what would have happened to that store if they'd have hit a certain family grandmother like that. That's right.
Oh man.
Yeah, it might still happen. We just don't know anything else. Like, you know.
And I believe this lady was a cancer survivor. Is a cancer. I think she's going through chemo treatment right now too. That's why she had.
Man, y'all just piling on, man.
No, I saw the original interview where she had people. Yeah, I think she's a cancer survivor. But anyhow, man, let's go some light, man, real quick, man. What would you brothers since ain't seen you 2 weeks? What have you been watching? Let's go to Watch It or Chop It, man. I think first on the Watch It or Chop It list is You People. Anybody seen that?
I saw it.
Yeah.
I didn't see it yet.
I haven't seen it yet.
How was it? How did you guys view it?
I enjoyed it. I don't think D is gonna really go crazy over it.
I am.
I think there's a couple of things I'd love to see Nia Long in it a little more. I thought it was entertaining. Not big on being that plausible. What's up, Michelle? I thought it was cool though. I'll tell you one thing. What I'll say this: great cast, and Eddie still has his chops. Still sharp as ever. You know, but I thought it was a good cast. Now, what I wasn't feeling was, what's the lead's name? The
Jonah
dude,
Hill.
Jonah Hill. I have to say, I would have went with a different lead, and I know he co-wrote it, but I would have went with a different lead. I wasn't
maybe
really
they did because he was opposite of what you would think of a person like Laura London. What's her name? Laura London, right?
Yeah.
Laura London would probably, if she was in real life.
But I just never see it in reverse. That's all.
Yeah, hysterical and extremely cringy. Yeah, I saw it. It was very cringy, but cringy in a good, in an entertaining kind of way. You know what I mean? It was the awkwardness. You know, he was very awkward, Jonah Hill's character, and it kind of mirrored the awkwardness of the entire conversation around, like, you know, mixed race relationships and also just, you know, getting people together, like, you know, in-laws, for instance, you know, because, you know, as we know, relationships are not just between the two people, it's between their families as well, you know what I mean? Especially if they go on.
What up, Sharif?
Hey, Sharif, what's happening? He said, yeah, You People was good. Jonah Hill was funny. Yeah, I thought so too, Sharif.
I'm gonna check it out this weekend, man.
Yeah. So yeah, and it just kind of played with the idea that, you know, you're not only getting married, or in this case, your best case scenario, you find the one and you have a very successful relationship, then obviously the end result should be marriage. So fine, you have a great successful relationship, but now you have to deal with with the other family members, because you're also marrying them, so to speak. You know what I mean? So they are also part of your relationship. So kind of play with that, and especially with different cultures, different races, different expectations, different religions. So it was pretty interesting.
Without spoiling it, funniest scene to you, Derek. Without spoiling anything, funniest scene.
Don't spoil it, man. Come on, man. I want to see, bro. I ain't see it.
I ain't telling them to describe the scene. Just tell me it was that.
No. Yeah, when they're in the car and they're going to play
Mine
basketball.
Mine
Yeah.
too.
All right, let it go. Let it go. Now I got to see the car. I'm be like, this shit ain't funny. You see what else? This is my show. I've been watching there's only 2 seasons, but I really enjoy it. I think everybody should check it. I think it's the best show on TV right now. It's called Your Honor on Showtime.
I haven't seen that one either.
Oh, bro. If y'all got the alleged fire stick that shows a lot of stuff.
Is that how they work?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I wouldn't know about that.
I'm about to find out with my bill. I'm about to find out what you're talking about. I can tell you that.
Yo, it sounded like Derek was peeing for a minute. I thought he put his turned the water. I'm taking a piss. What the fuck is going on in this show tonight? What's your wife say right there, Derek? Oh, damn, say you go too fast. I can't read these. Derek got go ahead, man.
Like I said, the movie ran headfirst into every odd situation in a mixed race, mixed culture, and mixed religion relationship and didn't gloss over it. That's a fact. That's a fact. Very entertaining in a funny way, too. It brought some humor to it. Sharif said, ain't nothing funnier than being in a mixed relationship wedding. All right. Yeah.
Well, in the white people wedding, they always got to play Kool in the Gang and shit. Yeah, that shit always gonna come up. So,
that's the black song. Yeah.
Gotta play that Kool in the Gang, man. They gotta play that Kool in the Gang.
On Marky Mark, don't they play Marky Mark?
Marky Mark, yeah, they play that shit, man. They gotta play that shit, boy. But you know that shit's true. That Kool in the Gang. Do you remember? They all get out. They love that shit, man.
Okay, you know what? I'm mad at you for calling that Kool and Gang when that's Earth, Wind, and Fire.
That's Earth, Wind, and Fire. I was about to say, wait, what?
Sorry, Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh, you done did it
Scroll. Now give him a scroll. Damon. Scroll for Damon. Scroll him.
I'm into Earth, Wind, and Fire. Sorry,
Black card revolt.
Because Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah, that's the scroll we need.
Fire is mint condition, so you know.
Yo, is everybody alive? Is Earth, Wind, and Fire? No, right? Everybody.
No, Maurice.
I'm not sure.
Maurice is gone.
How about
lead singer's gone, and Vern I think passed on too. I believe.
How about Kool in the Gang?
Cool. I'm not sure about Kool in the Gang. I don't know.
I'm not sure either. I can't remember it off the top of my head. I've been thinking about too much other stuff. So, the comments is crazy right now.
Yeah, you can leave you alone. Yeah.
That's
Michelle
right.
coming through.
Michelle back. Love you, Michelle. Looking beautiful, baby.
No, not the scroll. But yeah, but
Your Honor is dope. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. If y'all want a good TV show, and you're gonna be like, oh shoot, what's gonna happen next? You gotta watch Your Honor. 1 and 2 seasons. Season 2 so far has been excellent. It starts off. If you watch Breaking Bad, the fan of the Breaking Bad, this dude's one of the best actors out, bro.
Yeah, he's great. Bryan Cranston, I think his name is.
Yeah, hands down.
Respectfully, if I mess up his name, but yeah, he's great.
Hands down.
Yeah, that's my dude.
I'm actually,
I dug him.
I'm actually looking forward a little bit to just the curiosity of this show. Y'all remember that show You that came out a couple years ago?
What's it called?
You was on like Netflix about this guy who like kind of it's wild. He stalks.
Wild.
This season
I just
4
preview. I just saw the preview for it. I never saw it. It was 4 seasons this joint. Okay.
Season 4 is starting. I would say if you start with season 1, you're gonna get hooked because it's one of those things where you kind of like, wait, what? Then you're like, wait, but you kind of want to see more because you're like, yo, did he just say that? Like, what is he like? His internal monologue. You just sitting there like, yo, this is crazy. And then you like, but I kind of want to see what he do next.
So also on Broadway, I got tickets to see the previews for Roots the musical. So
oh shit!
I got a question. People talk about Beyonce. Respectfully, people are talking about Beyonce. She about to go on tour again, and her tickets is about to be crazy. What do y'all think? There's memes about people like selling their arms and legs or
Bro, that
selling
shit,
their
internet,
cars and stuff to
the
buy
internet has been
tickets
funny
to
with
see
that.
Beyonce.
I've seen her before, and that's the best I could do. Great show, but listen, they done priced me out the game. I ain't even seen the price of the tickets, but what they looking like?
No, my chicken wings right now. If anybody want a ticket with him, it's $12.50 for the suite ticket. So they starting at that range, man. They up there already.
$12.50 in the traditional sense. You mean $1,200?
$1,250.
Oh yeah, somebody told you wrong. Somebody told y'all wrong.
Yeah, I don't know what tomorrow I'll find out. I think I'm part of that. One of them things with Citibank. They'll release them tomorrow.
And Janet Jackson is on tour too.
That's good. That's cricket.
And Madonna.
That's crickets. Let me tell you something. Think about this. They're playing at the Barclays, right? Beyonce's at this football stadium. That's all I want to say.
Right.
That's
she does stadiums. She does stadiums.
Yeah, that's
the
the
stadium.
thing. But I tell people like this: if you really want to, you could come out cheaper, go and see Beyonce in another country for cheaper. The ticket master is going through the whole thing where they having the tickets all crazy high. Go to another country. You pay for a whole flight, have it, and you can go to the Netherlands and check it out, and you might come out cheaper, man.
I'm going to
yo, that's smart. Word.
So where we going, Damon? Where we going?
I ain't going. No, not $12.50. I wish though, right? I'd have bought 10 rows of them.
Okay, well, I'll say this. I'll be seeing Beyonce at Kelvin Stadium on YouTube. That's what where I'll be seeing.
They might have cheaper tickets.
They call it Living Room Stadium.
Maybe if the Fire Stick got it, can we watch it on the Fire Stick? Because I'll get a Fire Stick to watch it. Like,
I wouldn't know about the Fire Stick. I don't know about that.
I don't know nothing about it yet. I'm trying to learn though. I hear it does good things for the.
Hair is amazing. Hair is amazing.
Yeah, man.
But no, I would.
Made by Amazon, right? They make it, right? It's on
somebody.
there.
Somebody.
Yeah.
I think the concert. I'm just saying what my one tickets are. They probably could be somewhere. I think the lowest ticket's probably gonna be like $350. I can't see it going less than $350. Can't. It's Beyonce. When you got Nita Baker going at the damn UBS arena, it's like $175. What Beyonce gonna
pay at least
there's no Nita Baker slander, right? We're not slandering
no.
Nita
I'm
Baker
just
right
saying.
now.
No, I'm not saying
okay, because you already came after Earth, Wind, and Fire. Like, what happened? What happened,
That
man?
is the white people song in the middle of the wedding. Come on, y'all know that shit happens, bro.
All right, let me ask you a question.
But you called them cool in the game.
I
know. You start talking about Anita Baker.
Same shit.
It's Black History Month.
Do you remember in 2000, Michael Jackson did his 30th year anniversary at the Garden? Tickets were $500, $1,000, $1,500, $2,500, and $5,000.
Yeah.
Now, looking back though, I mean, he gave you Luther Vandross, Usher, NSYNC, Beyond Destiny's Child, Britney Spears. He had everybody that performed that night. Looking back, I never saw him perform live. I would have done it.
Yeah,
I'd have done the $500 ticket and walked down.
We always thought, we did. You know how we?
I don't think you would have been able to walk anywhere.
Yeah,
he sold out. I don't think Michael Jackson didn't have a sold out show. You know what I mean? Like he was. I tell people he was the second most famous person in the world next to Jesus.
Right.
You might be right.
That's a crazy thing to even think
it's Jesus.
to say.
I'm not talking about.
I think it's Jesus, Michael, and Ali.
Yes, it is. That's
Good,
it.
No argument.
The most books written about is Jesus and Ali, and that's what.
Yep, and then I think Michael was probably the most, like they say, famous photographed person, probably. But yeah, it's I would have seen it. But Beyonce right now, I think is a good time to see it because I don't know soon. Eventually, she got to wrap it up because everybody with all the debates about Rihanna and stuff like that, people don't.
Rihanna,
she left it on the stage, and no, younger people think she is. The younger people, I'm telling you, you'd have an argument on your hands. Rihanna fans think she
can't sing. She can't do it.
But that's our age. That's our age.
No, man, she can't sing.
I'll just say this. Has she ever sold out? Like, has she ever outsold Beyonce in records? Has she ever had like longer number ones?
Outsells her. She does. She has more number ones than she outsells her. Beyonce is not as good on the charts as people think. No, definitely.
I don't know about
Rihanna's
I mean, like, we'd have to look that up, but I'm not disagreeing with you because I don't know.
Yeah, no. I'm a Beyonce fan. I'm not a Rihanna fan. I'm just telling you, if you take somebody that's 10 to 15 years younger than we are, it's not even close. They all with Rihanna. And then the other thing is because right now we're prisoners of the moment. this era has no regard for anybody over like 25, 26. Like once you get a little older, they quick to just dismiss it. I mean, really, that's just how it is. They're serious. You know?
I hate Rihanna's amazing too, but Beyonce's just status and her ability
that's what
to
Stephen A.
just
Smith said. You saw it. They attacked him when they asked him the question. They asked him, "What do you think about Rihanna?" And then he made the mistake of saying she's no Beyonce. Well, that just did it. But he had to get security.
Stephen A. Smith's only allowed to diss black men, so he stepped out of line. He violated his contract and his code, so that's what happened to Stephen A. Smith.
Oh man, that's funny as fuck. One more show we got to talk about real quick that I've been watching the Chop. I don't know if you other guys have watched it. The Godfather of Harlem since been Black History Month. You don't realize they released all the black shows. In February. You got Snowfall coming back.
I'm gonna say one thing. Forrest Whitaker,
yeah, go ahead.
Has talent. That's one brother did not sleep his way to the top. I want to say that. No, that brother got talent. No, I can truly say that brother. That's a talented actor.
Yo, he went to have a Cookie Monster eye. He has had the best career of all time.
We doing this right now? Right now?
Yeah,
we doing this right now?
He had one eye on the prize and one eye in the theater, and he made it. He made it. I ain't never seen it.
No,
you remember? He was the Gooch. Wasn't he the Gooch in Different Strokes?
Yo, I didn't know they showed the Gooch.
Yeah, he was the
I'm
Gooch.
not even talking.
I didn't know the Gooch. Actually, I thought the Gooch was just on the phone.
Now, remember Arnold had a friend in the Gooch liked the girl, and Arnold was helping him out with the girl. That was Forrest Whitaker.
No, it wasn't.
Wasn't it?
It might have been.
Is Shauna's still around?
Where's
I think that was the Gooch.
Right.
Yeah, I think
Shauna, Google that. Shauna, we need some research done on that.
I think he was the Gooch. Now the Gooch is leaking between the balls and asshole.
Oh my God.
Scroll. You just have to get one more.
Is that what we doing?
I demand a scroll. There you go.
Why didn't we do this at 9:15? So I didn't go through all the anger and all that. Why couldn't we just have this conversation at the top of the show?
He gonna get his numbers either way. He gonna get his numbers.
DeMar gonna do his numbers.
I'm 20 and 10. I average 20 and 10 a night.
I don't care if it's the fourth quarter. He gonna get this.
Double demand. That's what we got.
We're gonna do. We're gonna double.
Reliable.
I think we got Jamie. Gooch is the Gooch. Forrest Whitaker. Anybody find if the Gooch was Forrest Whitaker?
Let us know. Put it in the comments definitely, because I want to hear. Wait. I had a question. Don't we have something interesting coming soon for people they need to stay tuned to? Is this we having a game this month? We doing a giveaway this month. There's a lot of things coming up this month that people got to stay tuned. People got to be messaging. They got to comment.
Tell them about it.
I don't know. We doing some stuff. Y'all got to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, all those places because we're about to do some giveaways and y'all want free money.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's some things coming down the line.
We'll do some Black History trivia, man.
Right? Yeah. I think that's gonna be dope. I mean, if people are interested, they need to comment in the video, like, subscribe, let us know. Because should we bring, I think the conversation was, and I'm snitching right now. I'm dry snitching, right? I'm just, Jamie about to mute me. Jamie gonna scroll me. But are we bringing some contestants on live to play, right?
That's right.
That's gonna be dope.
They gotta make comments. We're gonna try to get people to come on live, play some games, some trivia. Damien's gonna make up the hardest black questions there could be. We're gonna do it, man.
We're gonna put up a picture of Bokeem Woodbine and say who is this?
But Sam was right. Sam said I was right. The Gooch is Forrest Whitaker.
I thought you was right.
That's right.
And I didn't want to confirm it because you came at him for like 5 minutes before you made that comment. It was like, oh man, you just gonna keep going.
We're gonna give out a cash prize. We ain't saying we got a lot of cash. You said cash. Cash could be $1.
I got a question though. Now,
$50. Damn.
Who's your favorite Gooch? What is your favorite Gooch? The actor or the body part? I couldn't even finish. I couldn't even finish.
That's what I'm talking about.
I couldn't even finish. Oh, wait. It was just a question.
Don't let me be by myself. Don't let me be by myself. We don't take.
I just asked a question. I couldn't even finish by going. Oh my god! Yeah,
we don't take the journey alone, baby. Nominate Michelle Turner.
Yeah. She said was I nominated to compete. I'll watch.
One, the seats is $1,500 like Beyonce show. We in there.
Yeah, man.
You should have I'll nominate that one, no doubt.
Oh man, listen, man. I'm gonna go to check out with Beyonce. Well, any of y'all brothers and sisters, this was great tonight. We had a little fun, we got a little deep, and we had a little fun at the end. So that's what we're talking about. So that's how the family is. That's how the community is. We do this. We get serious and we make it a little light at the same time. But next time, check us out again next week. Follow us Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. But we want to say peace, peace, and peace. Yes.